plenty, plenty story. Good times, bad times, all join body. Life, they sweet, life, they tough. We go show, it go rough. We go smile.
Once again, a warm welcome to the Be Audacious email webinar series. I'm Newton Maina, a co-founder at Be Audacious, and I'll be your part host for this exciting session. And our theme today is Ready to Go Beyond the Code, where we'll explore how to turn your coding skills into a thriving career in AI and ML. And before we dive into the good stuff, I'm excited to introduce my incredible co-founders here at Be Audacious. I think only one is available at the moment. Ivy will be joining us as the meeting goes on. So, Miguel, feel free to take a moment to introduce yourself and share a bit about your journey, as well as what Be Audacious is all about. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Abigail Ndegwa. I'm also a co-founder at Be Audacious, and we are excited to have you for this last AI and ML session. However, if it's your first time joining us, don't worry, we have the sessions recorded. We have been having an AI and ML series, and we are basically excited to have you today. So I'll be sharing a bit about Be Audacious. Be Audacious is an online tech community that has been created to create a safe space for tech enthusiasts. Whether you are just beginning in tech, or you are also in tech, you're working in the field. This is a space for everyone to express themselves. And from our name, we encourage people to be bold and to be audacious, to showcase their work. If you feel there's that gap that you need to bridge in order to be able to showcase your work. So this is the essence of the community, and we are excited to have you. We also have our partners with us. Their name is Kickstars. I'd like to invite Monica to tell us more about Kickstars. And our links will be shared in the chat section. Yeah. So Monica, the floor is yours.
Okay, my name is Monica Wamoho. I am one of 3 co-founders of Geekstars. They were not able to attend this particular meeting, but I am here to represent them. We've been partnering with the Audacious for quite some time, and the impact is there. So we are glad that we are still partnering for this AI/ML series. Geekstars is a women in STEM community. So if you're a woman and you need a community that resonates with you and your career and how everything in the workplace as well as school works, you're welcome to join our community. I'm sure the links will be shared in due time in the chat section, and I can't wait to also learn from this webinar as well. Thank you so much, Abigail, for the opportunity, and thank you to Be Audacious as well. Back to you, Newton.
Oh, thank you. I'll forward it back to Abigail.
I would like to introduce Barry. And for those who are able to join Geekstars webinar last week, we spoke about GMI and how mentorship is important. So we also have a privilege today to introduce one of the mentors in GMI. He's also a director at Microsoft. And yes, I am very excited for this session. He has been my mentor in the GMI series, and it is just an honor to have him here today. For today's session, we'll be speaking about Beyond the Code. So we have been doing an AI and ML series throughout since February till now, and we want to fill in the gap. Now, after you have created your projects, what next? Yes, and Barry is here to answer that question. So it is an honor to have you. I'd like to forward the platform to Barry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you to Audacious for having me as a speaker today. And what a great name, Be Audacious. I mean, I love the name, and I keep telling Abigail it's an absolutely great name. I am Barry Silic. Thank you for the intro, Abigail. I am currently at Microsoft. I've been at Microsoft for 3 years, and I look after what we call like our incubation team. So we try and incubate our new offerings into the market. And obviously, currently, it's all about AI. So I would love to take you on a bit of an AI journey, but before I start, I do want to say that I feel that this group of people is so lucky. Like each one of you is so lucky to be in the industry and entering the industry at this pivotal time. So I wish I was in your shoes right now and entering the tech industry at this time. So please make this interactive session, ask questions. I think the chat may be enabled. If it's not enabled, let's see if we can maybe use hands up and try and interact that way. If you have any questions, please ask them away. What I thought when Abigail asked me to do this, I wasn't sure, how to approach it. So one of the things that I would love to take you on a bit of a journey today on how Microsoft sees AI transformation taking place. And hopefully then at the end, that will paint a little bit of picture for you about all the great opportunities that each one of you has in AI. If that's okay, we'll kick it off. But again, please ask the questions as we go, okay? So hands up, chat, whichever way you like. Okay. At Microsoft, we believe AI is not this funny little great science fair project, but it is a powerful tool to create tangible value. And we want to make sure that everyone's AI investments are truly impactful and are developing. And we're going to try and take you through a bit of a checklist almost on AI transformation, right? When we look at AI transformation and opportunities out there, the first thing that we love to talk about is how do we enrich employee experience? How do we make sure that everyone's AI strategy is making people more productive and more engaged? How do we make sure that people are having positive experience? How do we make sure people are, companies are retaining top talent, which each one of you is going to be, right? And how do we drive the next generation of growth for the company, right? AI can help create a more dynamic and fulfilling work environment, making everyone's company more competitive in the talent market, right? Second thing we see as a huge opportunity at Microsoft is reinventing customer engagements. Like how are companies connecting with their customers at scale through personalized interactions? How can AI help understand the customer needs better, preferences, and effectively allow you to tailor your product and services, right? And how can ultimately this enhanced connection between an organization and a customer drive significant growth for the business? Third pillar here, reshaping business process, which is the third pillar is reshaping business process. Probably the pillar that I'm most passionate about. Taras, I see you got your hand up. Is that an accidental hand, or would you like to go off mute and ask something? Accidental. Okay, great. Reshaping business process. That is something I'm extremely passionate about. And if we think about anything that we do today within a business, it is this traditional business process that are often an artifact of a human workflow. And what AI allows us to do is really reimagine this and think about it from an AI first approach. How can everything in a business. Think about people, any transaction, people creating a proposal, people sending a proposal, people interacting or responding to a proposal, people paying an invoice. All of that stuff has a process around it. All of that can be reimagined with AI and AI agents and chatbots and co-pilots that work alongside humans, amplifying the human ambition to get more work done. And finally, ultimately, it's about how quickly can we innovate and how quickly can we accelerate that innovation. Are you using AI to develop skills faster, to bring it to the market more efficiently? AI can really, really accelerate the innovation curve, and we believe that at Microsoft 100%. So then if we think about those four things that I just spoke about, and then let's move over to how do we actually do this, and at Microsoft, we kind of see this as a three-step process. There's an approach that we came up with, and the four things I spoke about just now, if you think about it from the first thing, it's around Copilot. At Microsoft, Copilots are chatbots that, it's our chatbot that we created. And ultimately, Copilot and agents should be leveraged to integrate them into your human capital. So people working. Employees are the greatest asset. And by combining employees with AI capability, we believe people can drive real differentiation and use this to maximize the impact of AI. Secondly, it's about these differentiated AI solutions. And this is really like, how do we ensure that everybody has a scalable platform to enable you to build custom models, custom applications that are AI first, right? And ultimately, and by far, not the least, like this may be finally, but not the least, cybersecurity foundations. We always need to ensure that AI-driven business can not thrive without a robust cybersecurity foundation. Okay, threat landscape is evolving. I've spent a lot of time in cybersecurity, and this is an area that can really be exploited. And as we've talked through some of the other areas, it will become clear why that is. Okay, when we talk about that initial thing now, so if we go back to this slide just for a second, Copilot, differentiated solutions, cybersecurity, three things, okay? Copilot. At Microsoft, Copilot is the UI, is the user interface for all of your AI, okay? We believe every employee should have a Copilot, and every process in a business should have an agent to transform that business for them, okay? So on that first level, like 100% enable your workforce. Second thing is, how do you extend that? How do you make something that's used by an employee extendable into third-party applications? And you can think of any. We have 6 on here, Adobe, LinkedIn, SAP, Workday, ServiceNow, Salesforce, whichever ones you want, right? And then ultimately, how can we enable people to develop their own AI agents that work in integrated fashion to enable their employees to achieve more, right? This is when we talk about the first pillar, that, Copilot enablement. The second pillar that we touched on is these differentiated AI solutions. And this is ultimately the tool chain that we provide for developers to enable them to build AI native applications for the modern work. We offer exceptional developer tools, including Copilot Studios for citizen developers, Visual Studio, GitHub Copilot for professional developers. Ultimately, this is an huge platform, and developers are working across all of these different services, different models, different apps, different data services to develop and continue to develop develop great AI applications. I don't want to bore you with all of this stuff, and I'm sure you know all of this stuff already, but this is that second pillar that we spoke about around custom developed AI solutions. Third pillar, no AI transformation is complete without thinking and talking about your AI cybersecurity foundation. Cybersecurity is critical. Why is cybersecurity critical? Currently, in any survey that you can get out there, you will realize that CIOs, CTOs, CEOs, CISOs, CISOs are very concerned about cybersecurity and AI. 80% of them come back and are worried about oversharing and about leaking of their sensitive data. They're worried about new threats coming from AI. They're worried about regulation compliance, privacy compliance. If you even think about, some of the work that people do in financial services or in healthcare, public sector, the concerns are real. So understanding that this has to be addressed in a cybersecurity, in an AI transformation is critical. Now, I'm going to pause a little bit and go, I've just spoken to you about the 4 opportunities that Microsoft sees. I've spoken to you about the approach that Microsoft believes is the right approach to address and benefit from these opportunities. But why on earth am I speaking to you about this? Your career opportunity can be anywhere here. And you may have noticed I spoke a little bit about the development code there, about people developing these great applications that are amazing. Yes, this is this bit here, right? Please expand your horizons, understand there's so much opportunity out there around AI transformation. That is what I want to make sure you understand today. And I would love you to keep that open mind when exploring career opportunities, when looking at career jobs out there. If they're not really developer jobs or just pure coding jobs, have a look at them. They might be very related to AI and the ML, AI, anything, right? So please, each one of these little boxes has a great opportunity for you. If you want to focus on enriching employee experiences and helping people develop process improvements in their day work to enable them to achieve more, oh my God, there's so many opportunities out there for you. That's not coding, beyond coding maybe, but your technical ability, your understanding of everything you've learned so far is going to be critical for that success as well. I might pause here and just go to the next slide, which is just a Q&A slide, to open it up. Abigail, if you're on the call, if you have any questions or anyone has any questions, please. Okay, I think we had a hand up, but the hand went down. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Hi, Barry. I wanted to put mine in the chat, then I realized chat isn't available. I did not have a voice out there, but thank you so much for the amazing presentation. My name is Kevin. I work as a cloud and cybersecurity consultant. I love the fact that you mentioned about these different opportunities. I don't know whether you can just go back to that opportunity slide. And just to mention about that, like most of the time what happens, especially so like being real on this side of
of the globe is we are sometimes caught in a loop where we just learn the fundamentals, right? We get to know how to basically use a certain tool, and then we really never go beyond to a point where we can use it to transform businesses and create solutions. Maybe from your own experience, how can we be able to break out of that cycle and not just learn, maybe, for example, just know how to do the basics of GitHub collaboration, or maybe leveraging Copilot to add security or some aspects? How can we get to a point where you are now delivering solutions that create impact to the organizations that we serve, or maybe clients? Thank you.
Wow, that's a great question, Kevin. And I think you said you work in cybersecurity and cloud, which is amazing. So your question, if I heard it correctly, is how can you get beyond the initial, hey, this is the basic usage of the tool, to I'm really delivering value here for the organization that I'm in. There's not perfect. Thank you. As long as I understand the question, there's a couple of things that in AI trends. I'm going to try and angle it to AI, and it can be reused in other solutions as well. One of the things that I always love to take customers through is, like, what does the value realization journey look like for you? If we understand your business, which is critical, understanding the business that you're working in, understanding what their priorities are, is the first step. And then linking the tool that you are deploying to the business priorities is the key. Because then it's not a tool, then it's a solution that's going to drive a business priority for them. Okay? And that's very easily said. Unfortunately, it's very hard to do, especially in large organizations that are complex. So I hope that answers your question. If it doesn't, lift up your hand. But certainly aligning the tools to your priority, and then figuring out what are you going to do. And maybe I'll give you an example. So I was working with a customer in Kuala Lumpur recently, in a large organization, and they said that their procurement process, so when they're purchasing stuff, is very slow. Okay, they normally do a request for proposal, and it takes them about 140 days to pick a supplier that they're going to purchase from. Okay? Now, we knew that they had this problem. And then when we were going to implement AI solution, we went, okay, we want to address that problem. Yes, AI can do so many wonderful things, but I just want to address that problem. And we're able to redesign that workflow for them, lowering it from 140 days to 87 days. Okay? So they're able to get a supplier, financial reviews, proposal reviews, all of that done much quicker and onboarded. So it's just linking it back to what they actually care about. I see a few hands up. Carol, I think you're next.
Hi, Barry. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Ah, nice. Yeah, so my name is Alvin. I just recently finished university. I was studying information security and forensics. And yeah, so my question to you is, as someone who is leading innovation at Microsoft, what do you think we as Africans should do in terms of innovating in this space of AI, considering our unique challenges in terms of capital, compute, power, and infrastructure? So what do you think, what have you seen in Microsoft that would be very much applicable to we as Africans, and particularly African innovators? Yeah, thank you.
Alvin, first huge congratulations. I mean, finishing that degree is a huge achievement. So well done on that. And I hope you take all of that positive and you give yourself a pat on the back, because I think that's a huge achievement. Now, your question around what can in Africa, what can you guys do to leverage these technologies and help the innovation grow? Certainly, I'm probably going to answer in a few stages, but I mean, at Microsoft, we do love investing in Africa and have a look at all the investments that we are doing and see if there's anything there that you like and you want to be part of, and see how you can leverage some of those investments. Microsoft is not alone. AWS, Google, everyone else out there, there's a huge investments happening. Leverage them. Please do. I mean, they're there to be leveraged. At the macro level, at your level, like the micro level, what can you personally do? Dream big. Like don't limit yourselves, please. I think everyone in Africa has such a huge opportunity. In a way, I think Africa, there's a lot of things that are a lot easier that are maybe in some of the developed countries like US or Australia or Germany or somewhere are a lot harder. I'll give you an example. I think like mobile first technology is huge in Africa. I mean, it's just enormously bigger and much more developed than in some of the other more developed countries, because they might be still stuck on fiber networks and cables and stuff like that. So you kind of jumped over this huge area and you are in a very nice area where it allows you to innovate a lot better and faster. So leverage that kind of positioning that you're in. Don't think that capital growth may not be there. Yes, I understand that. But there's lots of other areas that really enable you to leverage the technology to innovate even faster than that, US can, I think. And I'll say it again, just dream big. Like, don't stop yourself, find the problem and drive for that solution. Alvin, if that hasn't answered your question, please ask again. Like, very happy to have a conversation. And anyone else, please answer. Come on. Questions. Okay.
Hi,
Monica.
Barry. Hi, Barry. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great as well. For my question, in your experience, what do you think is that one underrated skill that maybe students or people that are early in their careers should be building right now, and we don't get told of this? What do you think is that one hidden skill that people need to know, especially for those who are starting out?
Okay. You were cutting out a little bit there, so I'm just going to make sure I understood the question. I think you were asking, what are some of the hidden skills that you may not be aware of that are critical as you start your career? Is that right? And while mentoring Abigail, she asked me a similar question. Like, what are some of the skills that I can develop that I may not have been taught in university to make sure that I have a great job prospects ahead of me, right? I'm going to give you a few, and they're not technical, right? So some of the skills that are most valuable are more the soft skills, more understanding. And some of the skills are not even skills, they're more habits, I would say. Like making sure that you do what you say you're going to do, and Abigail's going to be laughing now because I've been telling her this, like just do what you say you're going to do. Make sure that you always interact with people compassionately and try and understand people. I always say, seek to understand before seeking to be understood. So if you are speaking to someone, really try and understand their perspective before trying to speak. I sometimes find that hard because you want to always talk and kind of come up with a solution, but just pausing and just listening. I think one of the first questions that was asked was around, how do you get value from a solution that's AI? You know, and again, it's just pausing and seeking to understand the problem before trying to talk about the solution. So understand before trying to be understood. So I think that there's a few there. Stephen, I think you have your hand up as well.
Yeah, hello everyone. I hope my microphone is clear.
It is clear.
Okay, so just to add on Monica's question, for me, it's more on the technical skills, like given we are now starting to grow, because I also recently finished university myself. Like, what are the specific technical skills that we should try to focus on and learn so that we can get more opportunities once we start looking for the jobs? Yeah, that's my question.
Okay. So here's something that may surprise you a little bit. When you start in your career, and if I am hiring someone that's starting their career, there's 3 things I look for, okay? And none of them are technical. Okay, so I'll answer this first, Stephen, and then I'll try and give you some specific things that you answered or asked about. There's 3 things I always look for. I look for, is this person smart? Are they hungry? So are they going to really want to learn and get through stuff and work hard? And are they humble? Now, are they like someone that's kind of humble and wants to work, but not, and is going to work well within a team? So smart, hungry, humble. They're from a book. You can read it up later. And the reason why that's really important when you're first starting out your career, because what you've learned at university, it's very unlikely that you're going to be using in real life, like some of it. But you learned how to problem solve. You learn how to learn more. You learn how to use tools. So it's less, when I'm hiring, it's less about what you currently know and what is your technical skill set currently. I'm much more interested in how quickly can you learn? Do you want to learn? And can you work well within a team? Right? Now, with AI, I would say that's even more important. Because if you think about how quickly this thing is developing currently, and what we knew of AI 12 months ago, and what we know now, has changed drastically. And people that are in these jobs have to continuously learn new things and develop new skills and be flexible and adaptive to that environment. So it's not about what they knew a year ago. No one cares what they knew a year ago. It's all about what are you learning today to get us from today to tomorrow. Okay? Now, then let's just then try and answer some like specific question that you had. It's like, yes, but even that, like what are some of the good things to learn technically to be able to get you there? If you think about those 3 things that I said earlier around development, around those all those tools that were available there, and I might just bring the slide back up. Like I would go, get familiarized with this. Like, if it's a specific language you're coding in, it's like, okay, but understand how things fit together. Understand how a solution can be put together with all the little things that actually have to work together to drive the solution. This is Azure. You can pick any other cloud provider; they're going to have something similar. So that's irrelevant. But understanding how things work at a level where you can go, okay, this is good, I think is amazing, right? Lucy has taken control of my slides. That's fine. And now she stopped them. Don't do that, Lucy. Stephen, does that give you a bit of a feel for what I think is important?
Yes, it does. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Max, you have your hand up.
Yes. So I'm Max. I work for like a fintech solution as a backend engineer. So I've always mostly wondered how AI can solve complex problems, because some of the use cases I've seen is mostly chatbots, not really complicated solutions, not really complicated problems being solved. Maybe that's a question to you. How far has AI come to solve such issues? And is it currently being used in the business world to solve like real world use cases?
I love that question. I was on the stage probably about 7 years ago now. And someone asked me a similar question. You know, we were talking about machine learning back then and how far it's become and how amazing it is. And I was like, I don't think we made any change. Like you know, if I look back from that point backwards, I'm like, the growth was very, very small, and we haven't really implemented it in many places or anything. What's changed and what's really kind of clicked AI into place, especially generative AI, it's OpenAI, and OpenAI launching the ChatGPT, and the acceleration of that, because they were able to put it into everyone's hands. And so it's the first AI tool that anyone, you, me, anyone on the planet could just go in and test out and play with, right? That caused the wave of innovation following that, right? So if I then fast forward to today and go, am I seeing AI used in businesses? Absolutely. Am I seeing AI used, to your point, solving business process issues? Everywhere. Like, literally, businesses are being transformed today with AI. Some faster than others. Some 100% are taking this on and are going, okay, we are going to be an AI organization. Okay, we're going to drive this thing forward. Okay. Some are a little bit more hesitant. Yes. Okay. Now, to your second part of your question is AI used to solve major complex problems? That depends on what you classify a major problem, right? Is AI used to solve cancer today? We haven't found a cure for cancer, so no, we failed. But if I think about the automotive industry, is AI used to help a designer design a new part for an engine? Yes, 100%. So depending what this big complex problem is, there are problems that we haven't solved. But there are like some problems that I go, they're quite complex, man, and we are able to solve them quite easily. Just yesterday, I heard a project manager, it would have taken them 5 days to do this project board that they did. And they did it once every 3 months to report to their board. They're able to do that in 4 hours now. Now, is that a complex problem? I don't know. Like, for them, it's a very complex problem. But for us, it may not be, as I said. So it just depends. Max, does that answer your question?
Yes. And I have a slight follow-up.
Great.
Yeah. So one of the issues we know with AI is sometimes it hallucinates a lot. And then so I always wonder when when you're doing like a small project, it doesn't really matter a lot if you get stuff wrong. You can easily correct. But I'm thinking in a use case where you need, like, it's very important to have correct information. So how do you sort of like mitigate some of the things? How do you mitigate that? Like AI hallucinates sometimes. So how can you mitigate that in a business environment?
Yeah. This is one of the biggest almost mindset challenges that I find when talking to businesses. People confuse AI with automation. They go, I want to add this document and this document, and I want it to be like this. And I go, well, that's automation. That's like, it's 1 + 1 = 2. That's automation. That doesn't need you to think about anything. Versus something that I always refer to AI. Think of AI as a really good university student that's just graduated. Are they going to know a lot? Yeah. But you need to give them some guidance on what they need to do. And the more guidance I give to AI, the more accurate the answer becomes. So even if I ask her, hey, can you create an image of Africa for me? The image it comes up with is not going to be the one that's just displayed on your screen. But if I keep asking and keep fine-tuning my prompting, it does get closer to the solution that I expect it to be. Okay? So it's almost like sometimes you need to train these models to do exactly what you want it to do and instruct them in a certain way to get to the right answer. If you don't, you'll get very random answers. And that's a little bit difficult to explain to businesses sometimes.
So it's more of like an assistant, something to give you options as opposed to making the decision itself.
100%. I mean, at Microsoft, we call it co-pilot. We don't call it pilot. It's not flying the plane. It's the co-pilot. You're the pilot. This thing is the co-pilot for you.
Yes, thank you.
No problem. Thanks for the question, Max. Abigail.
Hi, I just wanted to make an announcement. We apologize that the chat section is not open, but we have come up with a solution. If you have questions, feel free to shoot them in the Q&A section and they will be seen. Thank you.
Oh, Elvin, I love your question. Oh my God. AGI. Oh my God. And when might that be? I think the question is not if. I really believe that we will. So to answer your first question, I think we will certainly achieve it. When is an interesting one, and how do you measure it as well? And that's a tricky one as well. So how do you know you've achieved it? It gets a little bit hazy, that definition of what you've achieved. But if you're going to tell me, or if you're going to force me to give you a time frame, I'm going to say within 2 years. Within 2 years, I think these models are going to be able to really do some really, really cool stuff. And it's going to be really interesting, that journey, which is why that earlier comment I said, I am jealous of each one of you, that are starting your career journeys right now. because I think this excitement ahead is amazing, and you're going to see all of it. You know, I'm going to see the end of it, or the start of it, and then, you know, I'm probably going to get too old. But all of you, oh my God, I just think it's so great that you're all doing this. And Alvin, does that answer your question? Oh, Alvin, go. Thank you for lifting up your hand.
Yeah, that does answer my question, but I think it's quite bold of you to say that within 2 years we will have AGI. So I'm interested to know what is your definition of AGI? Is it one massive large language model, or will it be a system of different agents that can perform different tasks? So yeah.
Yeah. People are continue taking my slides. If anyone needs these slides, please let me know. I'll share them with Abigail, and she can share them out. There's no problem. So your Alvin, your question around what do I see it? Yes, within 2 years, I see this as being almost like a lab model. That it's going to have to go through a lot of controls to ensure that we can actually release it. Because ultimately, I think these things can, you know, even now, I think if you are in tune with some of the tech industry news, you will have heard OpenAI admit that their most recent updates have caused the AI model to take on a bit of a funny personality. And I mean, that's normal, right? These things just learn. They just learn from different things. And ultimately, if we do get to the AGI stage, you can imagine how complex this thing's going to be and how many controls we're going to have around it to ensure that, you know, it doesn't have any bias. It's, you know, it doesn't start making up stories that are not quite true, but starts believing their own stories and then gets trained on those stories and kind of spirals out. There's lots of little things that we're going to have to do to see if we can control it. Does that answer the question?
A bit, but I'd also asked what do you see the system looking like? Like what's your definition of an AGI system? Is it like one massive large language model, or is it a system with multiple agents performing different tasks? So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was imagining it as one large language model to start off with, for sure. And then it would ultimately be developed from there. Look, I am not in engineering. I don't develop models. And I think the next question is probably I'm gonna answer it straight away. My team does not go out or it's not the back end team that develops these codes and models. My team is the front end team that talks to customers about enabling the customers to use these models to transform their organization and get the value from them. So that's probably as much as I can give you on what I think that's going to look like in the future. But there are people that are much closer to this than I am, and they can probably answer the question a lot more better. Which, Thiba, your question around vibe coding is probably similar to that answer where, yes, I've heard of it. Yes, I kind of know what it is, but ultimately I think, you know, I don't play with it every day. Like if you talk about how do you create an agent and how can an agent transform a business flow, that's probably more where my expertise lie currently. I was a developer a long time ago, but not anymore. there's any other questions. Hi, Masha. 3-year computer science student passionate about AI and ML, seeking mentorship on that. Currently learning AI ML through YouTube videos by Andrew Henge. 100%, if you haven't already, a global mentorship initiative. We can share the links after. Abigail said that the last session was by them, explaining, what they do and how they do it. They partner with Microsoft, which is why I am one of the mentors, and I've done the mentorship with Abigail. Please register through them. It's 100% for free. There's no cost to you. You will be allocated a mentor that can take you through a program, 12-week program. Not really specific to AI or ML, or, but more around how do you go through and apply for your first job and get your first job, what to expect from the process and everything else around it. So please do that, and reach out to Abigail on LinkedIn. Reach out, for everyone on the call, Barry Silic, Barry. My surname is Silic. Find me on LinkedIn, connect with me. I'll make sure I accept. And do it same with Abigail and all the organizers, and build your network up. Especially in Africa, build your network, help each other out as much as you possibly can. Next question, Rashid. Hey, Barry Silic. Thanks for the AI transformation insights. One question. Does Microsoft have a tool to summarize other types of data, like videos, images that are non-text? Yes. One of the coolest things I've seen the other day is a customer had all these training videos, right? And we put them all up on a SharePoint, which is like an intranet that Microsoft has for the customer, and then built an AI agent to then access the SharePoint site. And the AI agent then takes all the learnings from all of these training videos, and you can ask the agent anything you want about that topic. So yes, 100% it can interact multi-nodal. So you can take video or images and you can do whatever you want with them. One of the things that, if you haven't used it already, but there's a premium version of Teams. We're currently using Teams. The premium version of Teams has AI built into it. So I actually have it enabled right now, because I have the premium version, but I can quickly then go and access Copilot and go, hey, what did I miss in this meeting? And if I join it late, it's going to tell me what I missed in the meeting. If I don't join the meetings at all, I can just ask AI to tell me, hey, was my name mentioned in any of the meetings that I missed overnight? I'm in Australia. I report to the US and I have a global team. And so I miss a lot of meetings while I'm sleeping. And all the meetings are videos and text. And so I can ask AI to summarize all of those for me. And every morning, it just tells me what I missed. I normally ask it to tell me when my manager has said something, so I know exactly what she's saying. Tell me if my name was mentioned, so I know what to look for. So yes, it can do all of that crazy, great stuff, not crazy stuff. Do you think having a skill in coding without AI is a consideration in most industry companies, since AI has made it easy on actually coding languages? We think having a skill in coding without AI is a consideration. I think having a skill, so having coding skills, I did computer engineering in university, right? So I value people that have technical mindsets. because you are able to quickly problem solve. And even writing a prompt, like people that understand coding and the logic of coding can write amazing prompts for AI. So do I think that having a coding skill is a consideration, even now with that AI has made it easier for coding? Yes. I think having that logic of coding, and maybe kind of related to a previous question about are there specific skills? I wouldn't say a specific coding language, like that's okay. It's more the logic that you go through in your mindset to be able to code is really valuable, and I think can be used with AI extremely well. And ultimately, coding, as we said earlier, AI makes mistakes. So having your code that you understand and you can review and you know if it's good or bad is critical for the success of everything. I've read somewhere just the other day that apparently our CEO has said that AI wrote about 30% of our new code across all our software. That's still only 30%, and someone had to review that code to make sure that's a good code. So yes. Any other questions? I think we're 5 minutes over. Abigail, is that right? Have we gone over time? Have I spoken for too long?
It's okay. I think if there are any more questions, we can still answer.
Perfect. Any other questions? Hands up or in the Q&A? And I'm just accepting everyone who has sent me a request on LinkedIn. So if you have sent me a request, you would have been accepted by now. Okay, I think that's all the questions. I do just want to say huge thank you for everyone for the opportunity to talk to all of you and for taking 1 hour out of your day to come and join this Be Audacious call. I love the name, Be Audacious, Be Bold, love it. Abigail and the whole team, huge thank you for inviting me. And back to you, Abigail.
Thank you so much, Barry. That has been an empowering session. We have really enjoyed. Personally, I have learned a lot. Just to mention, we have come to the end of our AI ML series officially, yes. And we are excited to inform you that we will be having another track that we'll be handling. Yes, so we will communicate on the dates and the track, and we are excited to also have you join in that session, in those sessions. I have also added the different links in the chat section. So we have our YouTube channel where if you've ever missed a session on the AI/ML track, you can be sure to catch up on the same. This session has also been recorded and we will add it to the YouTube section. And then we also have our LinkedIn account. We have our WhatsApp channel. So if you're interested in joining the community and you want to be getting real-time feedback, feel free to join the WhatsApp group. We also have our WhatsApp channel where we post various opportunities. If there are internship opportunities, job opportunities, we post them there. We also have our LinkedIn channel. We have also added the links for our partners, that is Kickstars. Yes, and we have enjoyed having you. But before you leave the meeting, we have organized a small game session, and it's like a small Kahoot. There will be prizes, and yes, feel free to remain. And I'll pass the meeting over to Newton. Also, one of our co-founders has not been able to join. Her name is Ivy, and I have also added her LinkedIn profile in the chat section. Feel free to connect. Thank you. Newton, the platform is yours.
Thank you so much for that, Ivy. Abigail. And with that, I guess we can proceed to the quiz. I can just share the link via the chat. Apologies for that. I hope the screen is visible. You can just join via the link shared by the chat, or you can just access the game through the code that is on your screens right now. Oh, okay. So maybe we can have a span of just 2 minutes to allow everyone to join, and you can just start.
Thank you so much, Ivy, for hosting the game session. We have come to the close of our meet. So apart from the announcements that we have made, make sure to follow us on our various platforms to get information on the upcoming activities that we'll be having. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been an honor. Have a lovely day.
For this road, we go see plenty story. Good times, bad times, all join body. Life